Hello and welcome. My name's Jessi Biagiani and I make art. And we're starting out here because I have to show you what sparked today's video. And that was me blabbering to Doug about my videos and coming up with ideas. And I half-heartedly was walking past here and was like the three little mice, except for there's only two. And then I continued blabbering about other things. And then later I was like, you know what? I should actually do the three little mice. Editing just here, and I don't know why I keep saying three little mice when it's supposed to be three blind mice. So now that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to the studio room and figure out all about the three little mice. So I've already started. I had been recording and I didn't look at how much my painting drawing here was blown out. So we're starting afresh, anew. We're going to work on artwork while I discuss today's topic, which is the three blind mice. Which, did you know that the Three Blind Mice was originally published in 1609? It was originally published in 1609 by Thomas Ravenscoft, if I'm saying that correct. I'm going to butcher the name of the book. Deuteromelia. Let's see how to say this. Deuteromelia. Or the second part of music melodies, or music's. They say things differently. The second part of music's melody. There you go. By Thomas Ravenscoft. That's when it was originally published. That was a lot of... But the original lyrics are something else, man. The original lyrics are as follows. Three blind mice, Dame Julian, the miller and his merry old wife, she scraped her tripe, lick thou the knife. Three blind mice. You may have noticed those original lyrics are very different from the ones that at least I grew up on, and I'm sure most everybody else on the planet. The one that I know is three blind mice, see how they run, three blind mice. I couldn't remember what the dee part was, and I had to look it up. It was, they all ran after the farmer's wife who cut off their tails with a butcher's knife. Did you ever see such a thing in your life of three blind mice? Which sounds really familiar, except for I said butcher's wife because that's what I thought it was, and I was talking to somebody else my age and they said butcher as well, but it's actually carving knife. Which then I said that to somebody else and they said, oh yeah, that sounds right. Oh, I was gonna say, they don't know if this Thomas dude was the actual original, they don't know if this Thomas guy actually originally wrote I'm trying to remember what it's called. Wow. The brain really farts when you try to work on art at the same time as talking. Is this why people do voiceovers instead of talking while they're doing the artwork? They don't know if Thomas was the original person who wrote the rhyme, though he did make up nursery rhymes, so he could have. He was at minimum the first person to publish it. So who knows how old it really is. Nobody alive today knows anything. I'm kind of doing this stylistically as the 1600s-ish time period too, so it's gonna look a little weird. like perspective-wise and stuff. And that's besides the point. The point of this is the three blind mice. So that was the original version, which here I can actually show you via Wikipedia. You'll get the point. There's also a YouTube video of some guys singing it, so you can actually hear the lyrics being said too, which I'll link below if you want to hear that at all. But yes, that was the original version. And then the version that I know, that I'm sure a lot of you know, it's the Beatrix Potter version, right? From 1922? Yeah. Which there's also now more modern versions, which they've taken out the violence. Oh, that's also, side note, another thing, if you noticed, originally there was no violence towards the mice. And then somebody along the way decided that, you know, let's cut off their tails. Maybe, you know, they're like, mice, we don't like them. Blah, blah, blah. So, there's that. But anyway, well, I was going to say something, now I don't remember. Okay. I gotta organize myself. To recap, there's the original one from 1609, which I told you about. Then there's one from 1922, which is the one that I'm assuming most of you know, and I know. And then there's newer versions where they've taken out the violence, and instead of, you know, cutting off tails and stuff, they're chasing the farmer's wife who has cheese. Which is nice, because the original never had any violence towards the mice, if you actually look at that. Some of the newer versions too don't go to the, what is it, the rhythm of the original, like the one that we know. Some of them made up their own weird sequence. I even found one version that was 3 kind mice instead of 3 blind mice. There's also another version from I think it was, well, I had 2 different sources. One said 1904 and one said 1909. The complete version of Ye 3 Blind Mice. And it added like a ton of different verses and stuff to it. Like a bunch of them. There's not just 3 blind mice, but there's 3 kind mice, 3 scared mice, 3 small mice, 3 cold mice. There's like a whole bunch of them. She's got a fat body. Going back to the original though, the meaning behind it, like, because they, for some reason, they're always like, everything's gotta have meaning, right? Which, you know, when something is vague like 3 blind mice, I could see maybe, all right, we need to figure out what the meaning is behind this. But at one point, one of the leading theories must have been going after the 1922 version or something, because it really makes no sense to the original version. But they were thinking it was related to Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary is Queen Mary First, the daughter of King Henry VIII. Me trying to pull facts out of my brain is not the easiest thing to do. Correct dates and names. Oof. I can give you vagues. I can give you what was said in memories really well, but like pulling out those facts, that's a whole another level of, oh. Anywho's, I digress. Bloody Mary. They were relating it to, she killed a whole bunch of people, but she killed 3 Protestant ministers for heresy and treason and whatnot, and they were hung. And for some reason, some people think they were the 3 blind mice, and then the miller's wife, well, actually, the version that I came across that was explaining the explanation didn't say the miller's wife, it said the farmer's wife was supposed to be Queen Mary, which again doesn't make sense to the first one. Also, it was published 50 years after the fact, so it wasn't really fresh in people's minds at the time. And there was no violence to the original mice. So all around, it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, that theory. There was also debate on who Dame Julian is, and they're trying to figure out what makes sense there. There was one theory that I could kind of get behind, which was there was a writer in the 1400s, which I know is like a long time before that, who had written books about hunting and falconry and all that kind of shit. And apparently, supposedly, just before this book was published in 1609, shortly beforehand, apparently her books had a resurgence and was popular for some reason. So they think maybe that was who was being referenced. There's also, I think, some matron or somebody of some other, yeah, I don't know. A lot of the theories, though, don't hold water because nobody knows. Nobody alive knows. Nobody alive knows shit. Nobody knows the trouble I'm seeing. Nobody knows my sorrow. But I have my own thoughts, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm thinking that perhaps the 3 blind mice are actually the 3 characters in the original song. Hence why I'm doing this the way I'm doing this. 3 blind mice could be Dame Julian, the miller, and the miller's wife. That's 3 people. Those could be the 3 blind mice. So I'm kind of making the 3 of them in that style-ish situation as mice. You know, mice heads. Mice heads. As mice. I don't know. If you know a different version of the song, though, I'd be kind of curious to know what else is out there. I feel like I explained that very disjointedly. Not very well. But hey, this is my first time doing something like this. I've done other videos kind of diving into certain things, but not actually doing it. Real research, real quick research on something, and then trying to make art based off of it. I'm already thinking, though, in the future, and let me know what you guys think, or maybe you don't even care. I'm kind of thinking of researching subjects and whatnot and talking about them, but not making artwork related to them. Making whatever artwork I want. The reason why I'm saying that is because I started doing this picture, and one, it's not my style. I mean, the charcoal's my style and everything, but like, I'm kind of basing it off of these old images, and it's not really working, and the subject matter is not something that I'm like, it's just, you see what's happening? I feel like I should just start over and do some other image. not related to the three blind mice. Like, 'cause I don't like this. I don't like this. And I should be doing what I like. This is not it. Boop, 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 boop. Either way, we're just gonna call this a fail. And next time I'll just draw something I want to draw. Like, I was intrigued. I was really intrigued when I was looking into the three blind mice. I was like, wow, this is actually kind of sort of interesting. And talking about it doesn't bother me, but doing an art piece around it is not it. But it might also be because what I'm actually thinking in my brain, what my brain is, maybe that's my problem. I'm not doing what my brain wants me to do. Because what my brain wants me to do is I'm intrigued by the lyric of, she scraped her tripe and licked, wait. She scraped her tripe, lick thou the knife. That section actually intrigues me, and I'm just picturing somebody going like, oh, on a knife. So maybe that's what I should have just drawn somebody going, oh, on a knife. Because that's what my brain is. Oh, side note, if you don't know what tripe is prepared or can be prepared digestive system from different animals, usually larger animals like sheep, pig, cow, deer, stuff like that. The edible parts of the digestive tract. I think it's often the intestines, but that's what tripe is. So she's preparing tripe and being a little weirdo and licking the knife. So if I went in here and just willy-nilly was like, bam, knife. Oh, I would need a reference, man. Should I get a reference real fast? Since I was researching Three Little Mice, I have literally had the tune of Three Little Mice stuck in my head for like 3 days. Three blind mice, three blind mice, see how they run, see how they run. For the sake of having something going on video-wise, I'm going to tongue, mouth, teeth. You see what I'm doing? Anyway, that's more like what I was imagining. It was just somebody going to go lick a knife. But I didn't do that. And I should have done that. But now, I'm not going to do that because it's too late. It's too late. It's too late. It's too late, I say. It's too late. I fucked up. We live, we learn. Anyway, you live, you learn. That looks horrible, but anywho's. And that is the story of the three blind mice. And me failing. So, yes, I will see you next time. Bye.